in this question from the chapter electricity. In fact, two questions I have taken. The first question is, how will you infer with the help of experiment that same current flows through every part of a current carrying every part of the circuit containing three resistors, say R1, R2 in series, which is connected to a battery of say V volt. So for that, we have to first make a diagram. Well, I have already made the diagram here. This is what the diagram will be making. So to understand this, let me hide this one. This is a part for the second part. Now check what we will do here. We'll be first writing over here that we will take three registers. Let's say I've taken three registers R1, R2 and R3 being connected in series and an ammeter in series to connect the an ammeter in series to find out the current and a voltmeter in parallel to measure the potential difference. A battery, a key, right, indicating the direction of current. This is what something you have to do. Now, our question is how will you infer that the same current flows through these three resistors when connected in series? So what you'll be writing in the exam that we will be connecting the ammeter at different positions, like maybe over, say once over here, maybe over here, here, or say here. Each time you'll find that the reading on the ammeter is same. This implies that same current flows through these three resistors when connected in series. That's what the first part. Now, if I see the second part of this question, what is it? Check in the second part. Let me erase the above one. Right. In the second part, the question here is to study the diagram, circuit diagram over here. And what we have to find out is the current through 12 ohm resistor. So we have to find the current. As you can see that this resistor is, that is a 12 ohm resistor is connected in series. So therefore, we'll find out the resistance. What you know that what remains same in series, that is current. So in order to find the current over here, the current over here will be same as the current in the circuit. One more time, you know that the current remains same in series and this is connected in series. So calculating the current over here is will be same as the current over here is the same as the current through the circuit, the total current in the circuit. So for finding out the total current, what I'm going to do is to find the total resistance. So I can see, let's say if I take this as R1 and this as R2, needless to say that these are connected in parallel, that is R1 and R2. So let's find out the resistance over here. If I use say 1 over R dash as 1 over R1, which is 1 over 24 plus 1 over 24. This is 1 over R dash would give you 2 over 24. That implies 1 over 12. So the resistance here is 12 ohm. Well, this is connected in series with this, so I can say that the total resistance in this case is what? 12 plus 12. That is 12 from here and 12 from here. So this will give you how much? 24 ohm. So this is the total resistance. Now I'm going to find out the total current in the circuit, that is applying V is equal to IR. I can say I is equal to V over R. And how much is V? I can see V is it mentioned? Yeah, it's 6 volt over here. So that is 6 over 24. That is 6 over 24. That comes out to be, this is 6 over 24. That comes out to be 1 by 4. So we can say that the current in the circuit is 0.25 ampere. Well, since this resistor is connected in series, the current over here is same as the current throughout the circuit, and throughout the circuit, the total current in the circuit is 0.25 ampere. So your answer should be 0.5. Now I can see there is one more part over here. In this part, we have to find difference in the reading over A1 and A2. Yeah, there are two ammeters connected. Look into these two ammeter. What you can see that they are connected in series. So and current over here, over here, over here, over here, over here will be same. It will vary at this place, right? As these are parallel. But as you can see, if I connect this ammeter anywhere over here, it should give the same reading. So we'll say there is no difference in the reading. The question is, how is O2 and CO2 is transported in the human? Well, most of you actually have seen that you write both O2 and CO2 being transported by RBC, right? And also you use hemoglobin as the one which is required for transporting carbon dioxide even. But that's not correct. So what you should write, I'm written the model answer here. Oxygen in the alveoli in the lungs is taken up by the blood, and here the blood vessels transport it, but the cells which are responsible for binding is hemoglobin. So it's not hemoglobin combines with oxygen to form a molecule called oxyhemoglobin, right? Which is present in the RBC and it carries it. But then for carbon dioxide, we do not need hemoglobin, right? Carbon dioxide, is highly soluble in water, and our blood, which is mainly comprises of the blood plasma, mainly comprises of water. Therefore, the carbon dioxide is transported in the dissolved form from the tissues back to the lungs, and it is diffuses into air when we exhale out. So remember, carbon dioxide is not carried by the RBC or hemoglobin. It is the oxygen which combines with hemoglobin molecules to form oxyhemoglobin, and it is transported from the lungs to the different cells of our body. In this question, assertion reason, it says a solenoid tends to expand when current passes through it. And the reason is, well, let me first tell you, you know what is a solenoid, and a wire of many circular turns wrapped in the shape of a cylinder is what a solenoid. Now, question is when the current passes through it, it should expand. Clearly, this should not be correct because when the current is flowing through this, right, in the same direction, right, you see that they will attract, they will contract, right, and it will not expand. Well, let's say see the reason he says two straight parallel metallic wires carrying current in the same direction will repel each other. This is true because let's say, for example, I take this as one wire and this is another wire. What is expected? Like if the current is flowing in the same direction, assume say the current is flowing in this direction and which is same in this direction, what you can say that here the polarity or the magnetic field produced over here are in the of same nature, right? And that's the reason we'll say that the direction of magnetic field will be same, so there will be like poles and they will repel each other, and that's the reason we say that two parallel metallic wires carrying current in the same direction repel each other. But that is not true in case of a solenoid. In case of a solenoid, they will contract instead of expanding, and in case of two parallel lines, two parallel wires, they will attract. So therefore assertion is incorrect in this case. In this assertion reason based question, we assertion says what? It says accumulation of variation in a species increases the chances of its survival in the environment. So that's a clearly correct statement, as we know that the variation keep on accumulating and it helps an organisms to survive better in the surrounding. As you can see that if you take some examples of say camels surviving in a desert, it's because of accumulation of variation that increase the chances of camels surviving in desert. Well, the reason says accumulation of heat resistance in some bacteria ensure that their survival even when the temperature of the environment rises too. Yeah, that's true. As you know that bacteria, some bacteria can survive at a very hot temperature. They are even found in hot springs. So we can say that this reason is correct. But then it should not be a correct explanation, as you know that the variation that takes place are several. Some organisms are able to survive in a very cold condition, right? Some organisms can survive in a very hot temperature. So here the variations can be uh, uh, s- something that helps them survive in a changing environment, and this is just an example of such an variation. So we can say that both are correct, but it is reason is not the correct explanation of this assertion. The question says the following observations are observed when calcium oxide reacts with water. So And let me write down what happens when calcium oxide, right? Calcium oxide is what? CaO, right? Calcium oxide, when it reacts with water, this is H. Say if I write like this only, that is, we have H2O. So what happens when it reacts to produce what? Calcium hydroxide. So this is CaOH whole twice, right? OH whole twice. So let me correct it. This is CaOH whole twice plus heat is produced over here. So this is what we know about this reaction. Let's figure out which of them is correct. The first says it is an endothermic reaction. Well, this is incorrect because it is not an endothermic reaction. This is an exothermic reaction. When I see the next, it says slaked lime is produced. Well, you should know this is quick lime and this is slaked lime. So I'll say this is correct over here. All right, this is correct. Now, if I read the next, quick lime is produced. No, it's slaked lime is produced. So therefore, this is an incorrect. Now, as I see the next one, it says it is an exothermic reaction. That's true. Heat is produced. So we'll say that, yes, it is. Well, the reaction is correct over here, right? This is correct. Now it says it's a combination reaction, but we can see that more than one reactant is there and a single product is formed. So this is a combination reaction. So we'll say the statement is correct. But be careful, we have to find out the incorrect statement. Incorrect statement are these two, that is first and the third one, and first and third. Yeah, that's the option D is correct in this case. In the next question, as you can see, a diagram is given over here. That is a circuit diagram over here. And it says that the current flowing through the wire of resistance 2 ohm varies with time as shown in the figure. And what we have to find out is the heat produced in 3 seconds. That means heat produced in 3 seconds. So we are going to apply this relation, that is H is equal to I square RT, right? H is heat produced, that is Joule's law of heating. Now check for the first 1 second. If I show you the first 1 second, in first 1 second, we can see that the current produced is how much? That's 3 ampere, and time is 1 second. But the resistance will be same as 2 ohm. So if I find out the heat produced, say H1 in the first case, that is in 1 second, I square, I is how much? As I said, it is 3 ampere. So it's 3 square into resistance, which is mentioned as 2 ohm, and the time as of now you can see it's 1 second. So 3 square is 9 into 2, 18. That is 18 joule of heat is produced in the first second. And if I find the heat in the next second, that means from here to here, what you can figure out that in this case the heat produced is what we have to calculate. From here we can see that the current is 2 ampere. So let's use the same formula. So it is I square RT, and I is how much? That's 2. We don't take minus 2, we'll say 2. That's direction is what? Negative. So it's 2 square into resistance is 2 ohm and time is 1 second. So 4 into 2, that is 8 joule. Finally, we have one more case, that is the last case. From this table, you can figure out, sorry, the diagram, circuit diagram, that in this case, how much is the current? Current is 1 ampere, right? So current is 1 ampere, resistance remains same. So this time, say if I use H3, it is I square RT. I is how much? 1. So it's 1 into 1, or say 1 square into resistance as 2 ohm and time as 1 second. So we'll say that the heat produced in this case is going to be 2 joule. Now we have to find the total heat produced in 3 seconds. So we'll say that the total heat is how much? 18 plus 8 plus 2. That gives you how much? 28 joule. So I can see that option D is correct in this case. In this question, we are given a flow chart. It says metal reacts with hydrochloric acid to produce metal salt and a gas. Now we know that metal reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce hydrogen gas. Now based on this, we have to figure out which of the following combinations are correct. So what we can see in the first case, copper, it says copper reacts with dilute acid to produce the gas hydrogen. Well, what we know that copper is below hydrogen in the activity series, so it cannot displace hydrogen. So it cannot produce hydrogen. So it is incorrect. Well, what we know, iron is above hydrogen in the activity series. So this statement is correct that iron will react with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce hydrogen gas. Next says is magnesium. Magnesium is a reactive metal, as you know that. And in that case, it must release hydrogen gas. But they are saying no, so we'll say that it is incorrect. Yes should be the option in this case. Now, when I look into the last one, it says zinc. Yes, zinc is above hydrogen in the activity series, so it will also displace hydrogen. So therefore, the correct options, right, is second and fourth, and second and fourth is option D is correct in this case.